The recent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas marks a tentative step towards peace after months of brutal conflict. The ceasefire, still in its early stages, represents a fragile hope for a lasting resolution to the ongoing violence. The first phase, focused on a cessation of hostilities, appears to be holding. However, the path to a comprehensive agreement remains fraught with challenges. The success of this fragile truce hinges on the successful negotiation of the second phase. This critical phase centers on the complex issue of hostage release and the potential for a lasting peace agreement. The world watches with bated breath as these negotiations unfold, the hope for a durable peace hanging in the balance. The current ceasefire marks the latest chapter in the long and bloody conflict between Israel and Hamas. Previous attempts at lasting peace have faltered, often collapsing into renewed cycles of violence. The question remains whether this ceasefire can break the cycle and pave the way for a more permanent solution. The international community, weary of the seemingly intractable conflict, has welcomed the ceasefire as a crucial opportunity for peace. However, skepticism remains high, tempered by the knowledge that the path to peace is long and arduous. All sides are acutely aware that the fragile truce represents a window of opportunity, one that must be seized if there is to be any hope of a brighter future. The recent release of 3 Israeli hostages held captive by Hamas has ignited a wave of relief and jubilation across Israel. Sagui Dekel-Chen, an American-Israeli, along with Yair Horn and Sasha Trufanov, were freed as part of a prisoner exchange agreement. This hard-won victory marks a significant moment in the ongoing conflict. The release was met with emotional reunions as families torn apart by months of agonizing uncertainty were finally reunited. The sight of the freed hostages, their faces etched with the ordeal they endured, served as a poignant reminder of the human cost of the conflict. Yet, amidst the celebrations, a sense of cautious optimism prevails. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a figure often accused by his critics of intransigence, has adopted a resolute stance in the face of Hamas's aggression. Addressing the nation, he vowed to unleash unprecedented force against Hamas should they fail to release all remaining hostages. "We will open the gates of hell," he declared, his words echoing the raw anger felt by many Israelis. Netanyahu, a seasoned politician known for his hawkish views, has staked his reputation on securing the safe return of all Israelis held captive. He has credited the Israel Defense Forces' unwavering pressure and the steadfast support of President Trump for the recent hostage release. However, with an unknown number of hostages still in Hamas's clutches, the road ahead remains treacherous. The human toll of the Israel-Hamas war, a grim testament to the devastating consequences of conflict, weighs heavily on the region. Since the outbreak of hostilities on October 7, 2023, the conflict has claimed the lives of 1,200 Israelis, their deaths leaving a gaping void in the nation's psyche. The fear and uncertainty have been compounded by the capture of 251 hostages, their fates shrouded in secrecy. In Gaza, the situation is nothing short of catastrophic. Over 48,000 Palestinians have perished in the relentless crossfire, their lives tragically cut short. The international community, grappling with the sheer scale of the humanitarian crisis, has struggled to provide adequate aid and relief to the beleaguered population. The international community's response to the conflict has been marked by a mixture of condemnation and calls for restraint. Egypt and Jordan, key regional players, have refused to accept Palestinian refugees fleeing the violence, citing security concerns and strained resources. Their stance has drawn criticism from humanitarian organizations struggling to cope with the overwhelming influx of displaced persons. The conflict has also exacerbated tensions between Israel and Iran, long-standing adversaries locked in a shadow war. Netanyahu, in a thinly veiled warning to Tehran, has vowed to counter Iran's destabilizing influence in the region. His comments underscore the volatile geopolitical landscape and the potential for the conflict to escalate into a wider regional conflagration. The United States, a steadfast ally of Israel, has played a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of the conflict. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's recent visit to Israel underscored the unwavering commitment of the U.S. to its allies' security. Rubio, known for his hawkish foreign policy views, met with Netanyahu and other high-ranking Israeli officials to discuss a joint strategy for confronting Hamas. The U.S.-Israel alliance, a cornerstone of American foreign policy in the Middle East, has come under increasing scrutiny in light of the conflict's devastating human cost. Critics argue that the U.S.'s unwavering support for Israel emboldens its hardline policies and undermines the prospects for a peaceful resolution. The Biden administration, while reaffirming its commitment to Israel's security, has also called for restraint and a return to dialogue. President Trump's controversial proposal for the redevelopment of Gaza has added a new layer of complexity to the already volatile situation. Trump's plan, which calls for the relocation of the Palestinian population and the creation of a U.S.-administered territory, has drawn sharp criticism from Palestinians and their supporters. They view it as a thinly veiled attempt to legitimize Israeli control over Palestinian land and resources. The future of Gaza, a densely populated strip of land caught in the crosshairs of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, remains uncertain. The ceasefire, while offering a glimmer of hope, has done little to address the underlying issues that have fueled decades of violence and mistrust. As the international community grapples with the challenge of forging a lasting peace, the fate of Gaza hangs precariously in the balance.